If you need a 240 volt 40 amp 2-pole double throw switch with a center off position, finding one can sometimes be a challenge at local supply stores. Here are some models and places to look that may help. Some specific switch models that meet your needs include the Hubbell HBL8336C, which is a 2-pole center off 40 amp switch. Another option is the Siemens 3TC6445-6S11, also a 2-pole center-off 40 amp switch. Eaton Cutler-Hammer offers the CH2440, which is a 2-pole center-off 40 amp switch as well. GE provides the 30448AN, another 2-pole center-off 40 amp option. Finally, Arrow Hart offers the CH2440U, which is a 2-pole center-off 40 amp switch. To find these switches, there are several sources you can explore. Firstly, Grainger is a good place to start, and you can find a category for double throw circuit breaker switches on their website. Secondly, Home Depot also carries a variety of electrical switches, including double pole switches, available on their website. Thirdly, Lowe's offers double pole switches within their circuit breakers and electrical switches category on their website. Fourthly, Amazon is another convenient online source where you can search for 240 volts AC 40 amps 2-pole double throw switch center off. When searching online, using specific search terms like 240 volts AC 40 amps 2-pole double throw switch center off will help narrow down your results and make it easier to find the exact switch you need. It's also worth considering industrial electrical supply companies, as they often carry a wider selection of heavy-duty switches that may not be available at regular retail stores. Don't forget to check for availability through online distributors like DigiKey and Mouser Electronics, as they specialize in electrical components and may have the switch you're looking for in stock. When selecting a double throw switch, it's important to ensure it meets the specific voltage and current requirements of the machine circuits you're working with. A 240 volt AC 40 amp 2-pole double throw switch is designed to handle these parameters safely and effectively. The 2-pole designation means that the switch controls 2 separate circuits simultaneously, which is essential for certain applications. The center-off position provides an additional level of safety by completely disconnecting both circuits when the switch is in the middle position. This is particularly useful for maintenance or troubleshooting purposes. Before installing any electrical switch, it's crucial to turn off the power to the circuit at the main breaker panel. This will prevent any accidental electric shock or damage to the equipment. It's also recommended to consult with a qualified electrician if you're not comfortable working with electrical circuits or if you have any questions about the installation process. When wiring the double throw switch, make sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The switch will typically have terminals labeled for the incoming power source and the 2 outgoing circuits. Ensure that the wires are properly connected to the correct terminals and that all connections are secure. Using the correct wire gauge is also essential to prevent overheating and ensure the safe operation of the switch. For a 40 amp circuit, you'll typically need to use 8 AWG copper wire or a larger gauge depending on the distance of the run and any applicable electrical codes. Always refer to the National Electrical Code, or NEC, Table 310.15b16 for the appropriate wire size based on the ampacity and insulation type. When connecting the wires to the switch terminals, make sure to use appropriate connectors or terminals that are rated for the wire size and amperage. This will ensure a secure and reliable connection. Avoid using wire nuts on high amperage circuits, as they can loosen over time and cause arcing or overheating. After wiring the switch, carefully inspect all connections to ensure they are tight and secure. Use a multimeter to verify that the voltage and current are within the specified limits before turning on the power to the circuit. This will help prevent any damage to the equipment or the switch. Periodically inspect the double throw switch for any signs of wear or damage, such as cracks, discoloration, or loose connections. If you notice any issues, replace the switch immediately to prevent any potential hazards. Regular maintenance and inspection will help ensure the safe and reliable operation of the switch for years to come. In addition to the specific switch models mentioned earlier, There are other factors to consider when choosing a double throw switch. The type of enclosure is important, especially if the switch is being installed in a damp or outdoor environment. Look for switches that are rated for the appropriate environmental conditions. The operating temperature range is also a consideration, particularly if the switch is being used in extreme temperatures. Make sure the switch is rated for the temperature range in which it will be operating. The number of switching positions is another factor to consider. While a 2-position double throw switch is suitable for many applications, a 3-position switch with the center-off position provides additional flexibility and safety. The switch's mechanical life is also important, as this determines how many times the switch can be operated before it needs to be replaced. Look for switches with a high mechanical life rating for long-term reliability. The switch's electrical life is also a consideration, as this determines how many times the switch can switch a load before it needs to be replaced. Look for switches with a high electrical life rating for demanding applications. The switch's approval ratings are also important. Make sure the switch is approved by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Hubbell or CSA. This will ensure that the switch meets safety standards and is suitable for use in your application. When installing a double throw switch, it's important to follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. This will help ensure the safe and compliant installation. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions about the installation process or the applicable codes. Double throw switches are commonly used in a variety of applications, including generator transfer switches, motor control circuits, and backup power systems. They provide a convenient and reliable way to switch between 2 different power sources or circuits. When selecting a double throw switch for a specific application, it's important to consider the specific requirements of the application, such as the voltage, current, and environmental conditions. This will help ensure that you select the appropriate switch for the job. In summary, finding a 240-volt AC 40-amp 2-pole double throw switch with a center-off position may require some searching, but there are several models and sources available. By using specific search terms, considering industrial electrical supply companies, and checking online distributors, you should be able to find the switch you need. Remember to follow all safety precautions and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. When performing electrical work, always remember safety first. Turn off the breaker and verify that the circuit is de-energized prior to any work. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and insulated gloves. Work in a well-lit area. If unsure of the procedures, please hire a licensed electrician to perform the work. This narration is for informational purposes and does not constitute professional electrical advice.